You are listening to the Mad Music Marketing Minutes podcast with your host, Billy Gryzak. Brought to you by MusicMarketingMind.com. Personal music career support services. The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, well, welcome back to the show called the Mad Music Marketing Minutes. Here I am, Billy Gryzak. I am the Music Marketing Mind, and I am really happy to have the next gentleman on the show. Actually, he might be the first gentleman we've ever had on the show. He's a fine gentleman from New York, and this guy, I met him originally through my work with children's music, and but he does a little bit of that, but he does so much more. But that's not even the reason we have him on the show today. Specifically, he's a songwriter, singer, performer, and he's a CPA. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll introduce to you my friend, Steven Zelin, the Singing CPA. Steven, how are you doing today?
Hey, Mr. Billy, I'm doing great.
You know, they don't actually call me Mr. Billy on the show. Did you know that?
No, I didn't get the memo.
I mean, my listeners do know I do kids music, but yeah, I'm just a regular old Billy or Billy Gryzak. It's you know, my alter ego, you know, when I've got my music marketing mind mask and cape on, you know, fighting the good fight for music marketing for musicians, you know.
Okay, I'm eating some M&Ms right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, hey, anyway, if you have a minute to hear, maybe you can tell people who you are, what you do, and then let's talk a little bit about something that's looming large on the horizon for all Americans, including the musical ones.
Sure. Well, I'm Steve Zelin, and I'm the Singing CPA, so I love singing, and I also love being a CPA. I have an accounting firm here in New York City where we do a lot of tax returns for small businesses and individuals and nonprofit organizations. We do bookkeeping. We also do financial planning, and we do consulting for small businesses, nonprofits, and individuals.
Wow. But you're also a musician.
That's true. I write funny songs about taxes for grown-ups. I also write educational songs for children.
That's awesome. And seasonal songs, because in our house, your Christmas CD is our favorite.
I appreciate it. No accounting for the holidays.
No accounting for the holidays. You know, actually, maybe we'll have you back on around Christmas time too. Maybe we'll have a holiday show. That'd be a lot of fun. I'd like to, actually, it gives me a great idea. Maybe what we'll do is find 3 or 4 people that have actually recorded holiday CDs. Maybe we'll have a round table. That sounds like fun, actually. Oh, I hear music.
That sounds great.
What you playing?
It's the most deductible time of the year. It's the money they're smelling and everyone's telling you tax season's near. It's the most deductible time of the year.
You know, what's really funny, we've been doing this show now for several months. You're the very first person that's actually sung and performed on the show.
That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Wow, that's great. Well, coming up real soon is a time of the year that most musicians would rather forget about, and I have a feeling some do. And I'm hoping that maybe we can demystify, maybe make things a little easier to swallow, or at least point some people in the right direction so, you know, they don't make any mistakes. I've made anything I know, I've either learned from you or I've learned from making mistakes. So, and believe me, the things I've learned from you were way less painful than the ones I had to learn on my own. So, you want to maybe give us some ideas, tips, some things musicians and musical people need to know coming up on tax season?
Sure. Well, we have 1099s. Now, if you have a small business and you make payments to other people, then you should issue 1099s if you pay them more than $600. So you should give them a W-9, and you should see if you pay them more than $600, and see if you need to issue them a 1099 because the deadline for that is the end of March.
Oh, my.
We also want to think about health insurance. You can deduct 100% of your self-employed health insurance premium.
Now, I have a question for you. Well, you said 1099 people that you've paid more than $600 to. Now, are you referring to like band members or are they employees?
Well, it depends on the relationship you have with your band members. If your band is a partnership, then you don't have to issue 1099s to them. That your band will file a partnership tax return, and each partner will get a K-1 that'll show them the flow-through of their allocable income and expenses. But if you hire a side person to perform with you as part of your band, and you pay them more than $600, and they're not a partner, and they're not an employee, then you should issue a 1099 to them for if you pay them over $600.
Okay. Is there any point over $600 where somebody could say, well, that's not a contractor, that's an employee?
Well, when you think about worker classification, you basically have two categories. You have an employee and you have an independent contractor. And the IRS uses 3 tests to determine whether a worker is an employee or an independent contractor. They use a behavioral test to see whether you have the employee or the worker has you have behavioral control over that employee. You tell them what to do. You tell them when to come in, and you give them the materials to do their job. The second test is financial control, whether you dictate how much you will pay them or whether they dictate how much you will pay them. And the third test is the relationship of the parties. So is there a contract in place that says whether they're an employee or an independent contractor? What I like to use as an example is, well, in my accounting office, I have people who come in every day from 9 to 5, and I supervise them and I give them the materials that they need to do their job. And so it probably would make sense that they should probably be classified as an employee. On the other hand, if I have a problem with my bathroom and I call a plumber, well, a plumber is going to come whenever he wants or she wants, and I'm not going to give them the tools that they need to do their job. They're going to bring their own tools. And of course, they're not going to let me tell them how much I'm going to pay for plumbing. They're going to tell me how much it costs. And I'll probably not use the plumber very, very often. So in terms of the relationship, that would be a pretty clear example of an independent contractor.
Interesting. Now, I don't know about you. Well, actually, I do know you. You're wonderful with keeping records and things like that. And since we've been working together, you know that I am not. I'm very bad with that. I'm trying to get better. Every year I do a little bit better. And so what kind of record keeping should, someone that's in the music profession, what kind of records should we be keeping? And do we need to, something I've been meaning to ask you for a long time, do we need to keep these records on paper?
You definitely don't need to keep the records on paper.
Okay.
You can use a scanner, and I definitely recommend it. You don't have to keep the records forever. Generally, you should keep the records for 3 years from the date you file the tax return.
Really?
Yeah, 6 years is really a safe amount of time, but they usually don't go back more than 3 years. I would suggest that you keep the tax returns that you file, and technically you should have receipts for all the deductions on your tax return. But practically, as long as you have receipts for 80% of the expenses in question, it'll probably be acceptable. But no guarantees, of course. The receipts include invoices, bills, canceled checks, debit cards, credit cards, and you should try to keep separate files for each type of expense.
But what are some of the typical expenses that musicians should be keeping track of?
Well, as a musician, anything and everything that's business related is deductible. And sometimes a prorated amount is advisable if you're going to use it for part-time for your business and part-time for personal. For example, your automobile expenses, calculated by using a ratio of business miles divided by total miles. You can deduct insurance, lease payments, repairs, parking. If you're here in a big city like New York City, you have the subway and taxis. You can also deduct your telephone. Some people have telephones. A lot of people have cell phones. Of course, accounting fees and bookkeeping fees are tax deductible, as well as tax software, professional dues and memberships, and business meals, entertainment, office supplies, internet, cable package, printers, office furniture, computers, postage, you name it. And of course, if you work from your home office may be deductible.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a short pause here. We have a sponsor to the show. It's Only Sky Artists. And our friend Neil likes to give a tip. So we're going to turn it over to Neil for a second here. And when we come back, I hope I don't put you on the spot, but I've got some burning questions and some questions that some of our listeners have begged me to find the answer to, and I can think of no one better than you to answer them. So we're going to turn it over to Neil. Take it away, Neil.
Thanks, Billy. You got someone to sign up for your email list. Great. Now what? Introduce yourself. You see, a new subscriber to your email list is not a fan. Let me say that again. A new subscriber to your email list is not a fan. They are a potential fan. It's your job to take them from interested prospective fan to super fan. Use the power of automation to send them a series of emails that introduce you and your music. By taking the time to be a real person, you'll build a stronger fan base. Hey, this tip was brought to you by Only Sky Artists, the creators of Music Fan Attractor. To find even more out-of-the-box ideas like this, head on over to onlyskyartists.com/tips. There you will find the 7 biggest traps musicians fall into when marketing their music online. That's onlyskyartists.com/tips. And now back to Billy.
All right. Thanks a lot, Neil. We appreciate that. Always great stuff from Only Sky Artists. So we're here today talking to Steven Zelin, the Singing CPA. You should know that because you probably pressed play at the beginning or downloaded the show, and we thank you for that. And we're trying to see what we can do to help everybody get ready for tax season. And, Stephen brought up something earlier that, what is it you said that had to be filed by the end of March?
1099s and 1096s.
Okay,
Actually, they needed to be issued to the workers by the end of January. And if you're going to paper file the 1099s, then you should have mailed it to the IRS by the end of February. But if you're e-filing the 1099s and 1096s, like I do, then you have until the end of March.
Okay. Now, for anyone that wasn't aware that they needed to do that or just haven't gotten around to it, what action could they take, or are there penalties? Just kind of help us out here a little bit.
Well, if you are wanting to take a deduction for some of the contract labor that you paid during the year and you want to take it as a deduction on your tax return, you should probably look down your list of records and see who you need to give a W-9 to so you can get their information on file. Now, W-9 just has name, address, and social security number, but that's the worker's certification that they are who they say they are, and so that you can give them the 1099.
Did I ever tell you my horror story that happened to me with a drummer? I had a drummer, and I figured, we're going to be working together for the rest of our lives. That was my first mistake. And, he worked with me for the year, and I never actually asked him for his Social Security number. And towards the end of the year, we had a very bad breakup over something stupid, like bands do, And he refused to give me his Social Security number. And basically, I ended up having to not be able to claim all the money I paid him that year.
That's a sad story, Billy.
It is a sad story, and I hope that no one else makes that mistake. I think it's really important, from my experiences, that when you get people working for you in your band, that you have all their contact information, including their last name, their legal last name, their social security number, their address. And I don't know how you feel about this, but some type of band agreement of some type, I think, is probably not a bad idea. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. And if you need a recommendation for a terrific lawyer,
Yeah, please tell us.
I could recommend a couple of terrific lawyers, depending on what specific area of expertise you guys need.
Excellent, excellent. So at the end of the show, we'll make sure that everyone knows how to reach you, and you don't mind if people have questions, they can contact you?
You bet.
Great. Now, here's a question that came to me from someone that will remain nameless. They know who they are. They're a regular listener to the show. And they went down the all-electronic route of taking pictures of their receipts and filing everything on their laptop, whatever. And I guess, unlike me, they didn't back up their stuff, and I guess they had a major crash, which pretty much killed all their data, and it was unrecoverable. Any thoughts on that as far as taxes go? Because that is one of the downsides to not having physical paper copies, I think.
Right. Well, that's certainly a good time that that the rest of us can remember how important it is to back stuff up. Now, Apple makes it really easy to back stuff up, and Google makes it easy to back stuff up. And there are also some services online that help us back up stuff. I think there's one called Crash Plan. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good value for backing stuff up.
Yeah, I used to use Muzi. No, I can't remember what it's called now. Darn it. And there's Carbonite, I think, is another one. So there's a lot of solutions out there. So if you're thinking about going the paperless route, back up everything.
Definitely. And of course, there's always Dropbox. People like Dropbox a lot.
I love Dropbox. I'm living on Dropbox and Evernote these days.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Evernote actually just released on their newsletter different strategies to use Evernote as your one-stop capture shop for your receipts and keeping your mileage and all the different things that you need. Oh, mileage. Let's talk about vehicles for a minute. You and I have had some debate over the years. Well, no, not a debate. I said that I wanted to do something. You told me I shouldn't do it that way. So, of course, I capitulate to you because you are the man. Do we do gas receipts or do we do mileage?
Well, we should do both. We should collect everything and see which one gives us the best benefit.
That's a great idea.
But to answer your other question about what you should do for your listener that has who claims to have lost all records of all transactions for the year,
yes,
I would recommend asking them if they have a bank account, and of course a business bank account, and they may be able to go to their business bank account person, and I'd also, of course, recommend developing a special relationship with your business banker wherever you are, so that in case you ever need some help with something, that someone will be there to help you. I would definitely go to the business banker. I'd get all the bank statements for the whole year, all the credit card statements for the whole year, maybe download the PayPal history for the whole year, and go through it, see if you can isolate all the business expenses, and you can try to recreate those expenses.
That is a truly excellent idea. I like that. I went to a business school of sorts, like a certificate training school. It was called Urban Hope, and Reggie White, the football player, started it in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and they would bring in different speakers, and one of the speakers they had was a banker gentleman, and he said he would tell everybody, whatever you do, don't get used to doing the drive-through. He says, if you're in business, his drive-through is for people, with their paychecks. He says, if you're going to be in business, you need to walk into the bank, you need to meet the bankers, develop relationships, shake hands, get to know people, make sure they know your face. You're just not somebody whipping through the drive-through. That sounds like a pretty decent advice, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, he says never do the drive-through. So, anyway, well, I know that you're running a little short on time. I'm running a little short on time today, but I really felt that it was important to let the people that listen to the show know that it is indeed time, if you haven't already, started on getting your tax picture together. You need to do that now. You need to do it right. And I thought you would be the best guy. And also, I know that you're really great about, listening to people, taking calls or emails, whatever. So tell you what, why don't we wrap it up for today? And why don't you tell us, like, the best way we can reach you? And also, do you have any advice for a place people can go to get, like, some type of, tax planner or, step by step, like, we should do this time, we should do that time? A lot of people just don't know the right times to do things. So if you want to address that question and give us all your contact information, that would be awesome.
Sure. Well, for more information about me, you can go to my website, thesingingcpa.com, and you spell it out, thesingingcpa.com. And regarding helpful tips for filing your taxes, the IRS website is actually a pretty useful tool. And so I would recommend that you go to irs.gov, where you can download a W-9 form and a 1099 form. And, of course, I created a website called DudeWhere'sMyRefund.com, where you can check the status of your refund. And the IRS has help centers all across the country. Some people call them, they're also called VITA sites, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. So if you have questions, you can ask them for help, and they'll be happy to help you. And it's free.
I like free. Free's good.
Awesome.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for all the free advice today and taking the time to talk to us. And
be on the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks. I mean, we did this kind of last minute because I just realized because you're so good at reminding me of things. I got an email that said, hey, we need your stuff. And I thought, oh, my gosh, there's a whole bunch of other musicians out there that might not even be thinking about this until like the day after tax day. So I'm hoping if we can, just nudge a couple people in the right direction, we're doing a good job.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Hey, you don't want to sing us out, do you?
You bet.
And now, here's Steven.
I was sitting in my office reading the taxation rules when a brand new client walked in and said he heard that I was cool. I'm a few years late in filing, Uncle Sam wants my ass. So I told him to sit down, we can fix this fast. He asked me how many returns I filed with my own hands, and I said, listen, I have filled out every form in this here land. Filled out every form, man, filled out every form, man. Before you were born, man, I've been well informed, man. Like a raging storm, man, filled out every form. Complied with Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Delaware, Florida, Colorado, Georgia, Massachusetts, Idaho, Michigan, New Mexico, Indiana, Louisiana, Minnesota, Ohio, Kansas, Mississippi, Oklahoma, and Alaska, Hawaii, New Jersey, Kentucky, and Nebraska. Filled out every form, man. Filled out every form, man. Before you were born, man. I've been well informed, man. Like a raging storm, man. Filled out every form. And I've done Iowa, Connecticut, Illinois, North Dakota, South Dakota, Pennsylvania, Washington, and West Virginia, Maryland, both Carolina, and Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Oregon, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Missouri, Wyoming, Wisconsin, Virginia, Montana, ISL, the full states, including Nevada. Filled out every form, man. Filled out every form, man. Before you were born, man. I've been well informed, man. Like a raging storm, man. Filled out every form. If they want federal tax, state tax, city tax, gift tax, sales tax, use tax, state tax, payroll tax, property tax, gas tax, Medicare, AMC, capital gains, transfer tax, and Social Security, luxury tax, sin tax, school tax, kitty tax, asset tax, retro tax, workers' compensation tax. Filled out every form, man. Filled out every form, man. Before you were born, man. I've been well informed, man. Like a raging storm, man. Filled out every form. Give me your W-2s, dividends, stock payments, pensions, mortgage payments, unemployment, self-employment stipends, travel, meals, entertainment, banquets, gratuities, and care, your health care, donations to charity, IRAs, real estate, and your 401k. Give me everything you have, and I'll make sure you don't pay. Filled out every form, man. Filled out every form, man. Before you were born, man. I've been well informed, man. Like a raging storm, man. Filled out every form. Filled out every form.
And that's the show, everybody. I'm Billy Gryzak, the Music Marketing Mind. I have to say goodbye now. Say bye-bye, Steven.
Have a tax-deductible day, everybody.